think we're going to get into our next segment, which
All
is
right.
Wellness Wednesday. And obviously, when you're talking about wellness, you're talking about how to take care of you, because most of the time you find yourself having the responsibility of taking care of everyone around you. And it's kind of thrust on you: be your sister's keeper, be your brother's keeper. But who takes care of you? And taking care of you could mean self care, could mean relaxing and sleeping when you need to. It could mean creating better boundaries with your friends and family and everyone. It could mean exercising. It could mean not eating as much as you could. All of this is self care. But how do you make yourself mentally stronger? And I think at the top of the list is embracing challenges. And I had a conversation with somebody, I think the other week, and they were telling me how they would like to do something else because they feel like what they've been doing has been really working for them. And now they're starting to become very resentful of their job. And they're thinking of quitting because it no longer challenges them. And now, they feel like every day they're waking up to go to work, it's kind of a bore, it's a
Redundant.
drag, and they're feeling a bit depressed because I feel like I could be doing more. And I'm like, so si ushikilie tu hapo until you find something else. And they're like, no, I am not doing that. I refuse to wake up every morning feeling like I'm going to die. So I am quitting my job because I want to look for something more challenging. And I was like, that sounds very interesting. Maybe something, I
It's
can think
very
about.
mature.
Exactly. And it's a scary thing, and you have to be very resilient, and it has to be a very well thought out plan. But I really admired that, them getting out of a monotonous situation because they no longer felt challenged. So, yeah.
I feel another one is practicing self care. And I know whenever we say self care, it always comes off as this whooshy whooshy white people things, yeah. But self care can be something as simple as you just want to take a walk. Just take a walk. You just want to take leave from work for 2 days. You calculate. We have a holiday tomorrow. But tomorrow is a holiday, public holiday. You decide because we have a public holiday tomorrow. How about I take to a day before as leave, then combine it with my off day with my, I'm sorry, combine leave with the public holiday, and then give yourself a chance, just like USA. And I know it can be so overwhelming as oof, God, people are going through very difficult conversations in their heads that they don't speak about out loud. But the moment you actually take a step back and just like USA, you realize, I don't need all this. Do you know what time I got finished up with my makeup today? I think I was done with my makeup at like an, an so early. This is like 2 hours before work. I was done with my makeup. And I'm like, what am I gonna do with all this time I have now? Simply because I don't have my phone. Like, I'm not constantly just glued to my phone looking at what people are doing online and whatever. Like, for honestly, I slept well. I woke up with no alarm, but I woke myself up without an alarm. I had a very productive day of just like doing what I needed to do. And it felt so very just like, maybe I need this for a few more days. Maybe I just don't need, do I really need to be talking to everyone, honestly? If people miss me, they'll see me whenever they can. And I think that is also a form of self care. Like, you tuning out and taking priority for yourself is a form of self care. You enabling yourself to actually think about what's going on. Like, all this outside noise, cut it off for a minute and just reflect on what you want to do. Just be quiet for like a day. You will realize there's so much of yourself that you've forgotten because you've been so enveloped in running and rushing with the world. Self care can look like that. Self care doesn't necessarily have to be you joining a yoga class or becoming a Pilates instructor or going for a retreat somewhere with some yogis. No, self care is all about you being just like looking out for number one first, thinking about what do I need, and then doing that.
And also, like, surrounding yourself with positive influences,
Mm-hmm.
and we do not do this enough,
Enough.
especially in a time like Kathami has said where you're always glued to your phone.
Yeah.
Sometimes the algorithm gives you the craziest things, the cringiest
Mm.
things. The people we follow for inspiration, the influencers that we follow, trust me, if somebody is making you feel bad, it's okay to unfollow them. Why are you letting somebody stress you from your own device? And I remember like doing that, like going just down my Instagram and unfollowing people who just did not spark joy for
Yeah,
me,
yep.
who did not represent me in any way, and I always felt like I was less than in time I would engage with their content. Also, your friends, it's okay to cut people off. And when I say cut people off, it doesn't have to be like dramatic, oh, I'll never speak to you again. Just limit, the time you guys are together. Like, just cut it down to, okay, it is what it is. Like, I won't do the most. I won't, because sometimes you hang out with somebody and it's just negative talk. It's just, oh, my man did this, my man. You're just like, girl, when are you ever happy? It's always them complaining about. I'm like, hey, Connie, there's nothing, nice in your life. And when you hang out with somebody who always has a sad story, you also kind of feel sad, and you associate them with sadness. You see them and just like, huh. As in, your day was so nice. You spot them, like, oh, anxiety inaingia tu na ujui imetoka wapi. So look around, the people who are around you, even relatives who just pop into your house uninvited. It's time for that boundary. See, it's your house. It's you and your partner living there. Tell them, hey, kindly call before you come. Kindly ask us if you can drop by. I just don't appreciate having to entertain you when I really am not in the space for it. It may feel bad, it may sound rude, but always protect yourself.
There's also something to be said about people who fail, and instead of, becoming a shell of what they were simply because they tried something and failed, they recover quickly. Fail fast and fail often is something that someone told me, and I'm like, fail fast and fail often? That sounds really depressing. I don't want to be doing everything that I do and failing. That feels horrible. But the reality of things is that every time you fail and you choose to look at what you failed at and you pick up lessons from that, it can be very instrumental in making sure that the next thing that you try and do, you've learned the lessons from it. The same way we talk about how, oh, I cut off my friend because she was toxic. The moment you learn that it's really not that difficult to do it, like, you can just cut someone off and your life is more peaceful.
Life continues.
And your life continues. Like, you're not worried, you're not feeling guilt. The first time you'll feel very guilty, very sad, very, oh my gosh, should I check up on them? Should I? But after a while, you kind of get used to living without them. That's the same thing as failure. And I'm talking about failure in not necessarily financially, because you're always fixating failure with finance. But I'm talking about even failing to establish a boundary and keep it. You may decide that I need to have more, what are they called? Hard stop. Yes. You need to fasten your hard stop. You say, I'm not going to loan money to anyone for the next 6 months, and you put a hard stop at it. Or you say, I'm going to set apart XYZ amount of money for black tax. Anything over and above that, I don't have it, and I'm moving on. And you try it the first time, but you fail. Why? Because someone will tell you, hey, see, why are you becoming difficult this time? You're guilted into it. You fail. The second time, you fail. The third time, you're like, wait, apana. You start to learn from that mistake. And the quicker you learn from it, the more you fail, the more lessons you learn. And I think, honestly, nothing better than failing in life. When you fail and you get yourself out of that situation, oh, trust me, that's the best Phoenix story ever.
And also just setting goals and tracking the progress. And a way I used to do this is by journaling. I write it down. It sounds dumb when somebody is telling you to just write down your goals and then check in on them from time to time. It sounds very, that's too much work. But trust me, when you put something down on pen and paper, write it down, it's like you're making a promise to yourself. And it would be so cruel if you broke a promise that you made to yourself. We are used to saying other people have disappointed us, they made a promise, they didn't keep it. That's a them thing. But you making yourself a promise and then not keeping it, it kind of feels horrible. So that's the best way you could do it. Write it down and promise yourself, this is what I want to do, and then just track your progress. It doesn't have to be overnight. If it's like weight loss, you obviously can't lose weight overnight. So Sema?
Unless you're on Ozempic.
Ozempic, okay, yeah, the money, yeah. But just set down some goals. Even with Ozempic, it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, it
It's all
takes
like
a
a
while.
span of like 3 months.
Mm.
So write it down, track your progress, celebrate yourself. You've lost 1 kg of water weight. That's going to come back in the morning. Sema hallelujah. I will eat a donut. Okay, that's kind of counterintuitive, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you're, accepting and tracking your progress and writing it down and journaling, also be very, very open to like cultivating growth, any form of growth. Just as Turia said, you lose a kg, even if it's water weight, accept it and say, yesterday I didn't know that I had 1 kg of water weight. I've learned that actually sometimes you're retaining water in your body that needs to be out of your body. As in, if you learned how to, and oftentimes it's something as basic as you go on YouTube and watch a video about something, and you come out of it and you're like, wait a minute, can I do that? And you go and practice it. Like, that is growth. Like, growth doesn't, people expect for growth to be this huge thing where you went from zero to, I used to sell chickens and now I made millions. Okay. Okay. How many chickens did you sell for you to make 15 million? It's fine. But like, not everyone's story is like that. A lot of people have a lot of in between, in between the one chicken and the whatever. Not all of us have the motivational speaker story, okay? So it's okay to be okay with those small bits of growth. Small bits of growth can be as simple as watching a YouTube video by Jay Shetty. Yes, he's a fake Buddha. They're called Buddhas.
Buddhist monk.
Monk. Yes, we know he's a fake monk, allegedly. But at the same time, he taught you something. It's as simple as you go online and see a course, a very curious one, and you take it and you start it and you're doing it. It's small little things that add up to so much. It's those small little bits of habits that you're now cultivating that become this huge thing that you end up seeing. So just be very honest with yourself and your growth, and be accepting of the fact that it's small bits and bobs.
And also be grateful. I know we say it all the time and it kind of sounds corny now saying it, but there's that grateful mentality that kind of changes perspective for everything. Instead of saying, oh, I'm having such a bad day today, say, I am grateful that I get to experience this. I am grateful for half a glass of water. It's half full, not half empty. That mindset, that changing of perspective and being grateful for what you have other than complaining about what you don't, it shifts things drastically, especially if you're having like small depression. Just sit down and say 10 things I'm grateful for right now, and now even all those bad feelings you were having kind of seem petty now because I have all of this. Why am I so sad over one thing I don't have? Yes, your job is crap and you probably have to commute like 4 buses to get to work. That's one way. But I am grateful I get to earn a living. There are so many people who are unemployed. There are so many people who don't know where their next meal is coming from. But I get to commute and go to work, get paid and provide for my family. That's still something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And very importantly, stepping out of your comfort zone. I feel like this one is huge. Every year at the beginning of the year for the last 2 years, Tree and I have said, let's set up an account where we deposit money. Every year we do it for the last 2 years. This year we actually set up an account and we have like 500 shillings in that account. 500 shillings, guys.
Financial breakthrough.
500 shillings for our trip to, where are we going? Europe. Our Europe trip. Our Euro trip. Honestly, it is just that initiative, because once you put in place measures, the next step is actualizing them. We had another conversation about doing something for our finances. Both of us, I know Turi did it. I still haven't done it. It was an investment idea, which again we've had a chat about for the last 2 years. Turi did it. I still haven't done it, and I feel really horrible that I haven't done it. And every time I sit down with myself, I'm like, oh, I should have done it right now. Ningekuwa nakula marupurupu, but here I am, just feeling regret that a whole year is going by and haven't done it. And I keep saying I'll do it, and I will do it, and that is stepping out of my comfort zone. It's okay to try new things. This year, what I do, I wanted to do a few things. I've done one thing. I've done one. I'm very proud of it. It's not going too well, but I did it, and I'm very proud of it. Why? I had to step out of my comfort zone. You also learn to expand when you try new things. Whenever you try something that is out of character, out of pocket for you, it just expands you. It expands the way you think, and that is the most important thing. We set goals and we come out of a comfort zone simply so our minds can see something new and focus on something new, and that can really change you as a person.
Yeah, and last but not least, believe in yourself, because if you don't, who will? If you don't root for yourself, who will root for
Ciao.
you? Don't be so stuck waiting for somebody to come and rescue you when you are well and capable of doing that for yourself. So believe in yourself, and also trust your instincts. Just, it's okay. It's okay. You're on the right path. It may sound difficult. You may be going through it, but trust me, you have to go through it to get through it. Wow, motivational speaker.
Wow.
Is there something else you'd like to add before we go home?
I think ultimately the long and short of it is mental strength is very internal. It's a lot of internal work. Externally, once you look for validation and vindication and justifications from other people and other things outside of your internal environment, it can be very disappointing. But once you start to force yourself to become the person who has your back. Like, I have my own back. I don't need someone else to have my back. I have my own back. The moment you start to force yourself to become more reliant on yourself than anyone else, that is the day your life will change. And I'm hoping and praying for that day to come here. Let it come, because I'm waiting for that day as well. But it's a process. It takes small little bits and you build your Jenga. So good luck.